Do you think Vince lost confidence in him and thought, well, if I can't count on you to be my torchbearer, you're just an underneath guy now?
Knowing Vince, I would say he would simply tell you and me he changed his mind.
Yeah.
And that was the go-to from him to talent through the talent relations guy, in some cases me, that we've changed our plans. When he fired me the first time, he said to me, I've changed my plans and you're not in them.
Mm.
And you'll be out of here in 30 days. Of course, I had a 90-day out in my contract, so I brought that up, and it didn't make him happy that I got paid for 90 days instead of 30. But hell, I had no job. You're not in my plans. I'm making plans to change, and you're not in my plans, or something along those lines. That's a hell of a thing to hear on a morning. You drive back home and tell little Jan, I said, well, here we go again, honey. Buckle up. I don't know what's going to happen next, but we got each other. And luckily for she and I both had saved money, and she had a job. She was a flight attendant, making a couple bucks. So, but there again, I couldn't dodge that bullet.
Right.
And I think probably Vince just could tell Ricky, I changed my mind.
Right.
I want to go a different way. Some talents that won in Ricky's spot could certainly make an argument that he's too oatmeal. He's too plain. I would never say that because I think he's an asset. Sometimes you got to look beyond certain things to determine one's value to their company. You know, and I thought that when I hired Mick Foley. You want a guy that's going to be good in the locker room, that can help some of the younger guys make adjustments and adapt. And certainly a guy like Ricky Steamboat is a value to have in any locker room. Then, now, and then or now. I'm trying to say then, now, and forever, but you know what I'm saying.
I know that I mean, you said it perfectly. Vince would tell us if he was here, I changed my mind.
Right.
But thinking behind those words, I'm going to make a little bit of an analogy here, so humor me.
Okay.
I thought years ago when Dolph Ziggler cashed in the Money in the Bank the night after WrestleMania and beat Alberto Del Rio, it's one of the loudest pops I've ever heard. And I think that was like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And fairly quickly afterwards, he had a concussion and he was on the shelf for a bit. And it felt like they never put him in that same spot again. He never got that same opportunity again. And I remember people at the time saying, maybe Vince thinks he's injury prone. Maybe Vince doesn't think he can rely on him, that he can count on him.
Could be.
And if you go back here to 1987, on the heels of what everyone is saying is the greatest match in WWF history, and he's the victor, and he's the champion, and he's trying to grow, Vince being he, more than ever on the heels of WrestleMania 3. They're taking out full 2-page spreads in industry trades, trying to sell arena business because they want to not, hey, if we can do one show, why not two? If we can do two, why not three? If we can do three, why not four? So he's trying to zigzag the entire country. And when one of his quote unquote pillars that he's built all this equity in this match, and now the championship says, I need to take some time off, it makes me think maybe Vince thought he's not reliable. Do you think that whole injury prone, not reliable thing is something Vince really feels?
Well, it's a convenient excuse.
Okay.
Quite frankly, I don't know how. I can't think for how Vince felt, but it'd be scary to be able to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I mean, the bookers have used the same small assortment of excuses since the day I got in the business in 1974. And it's just their creative flexibilities that they create for themselves.
Right.
And sometimes you got to have a reason, because remember, you're not just communicating with Steamboat here. You're communicating with the entire roster. If this can happen to Steamboat, then why can't it happen to me? Type scenario. So, but it's just one of those short lists of, we're changing plans. I'm going to have a heel champion. I want to, this guy's hot. We're going to get him while he's hot. I want to go there, whatever. There's a million stories. I've heard them all. But Steamboat just fell out of grace with Vince, and I'm not sure exactly why, unless Vince just perceived that the champion asking for time off, of all things, to be with his newborn son is unacceptable.